We know that the ancient Israelite prophets did not simply make things up when referring to heavenly horses and chariots, nor did the Apostle John, nor, for that matter, did the numerous ancient civilizations that claimed there were such things as the chariots of the gods. The horses the ancients saw were derived from the heavenly horse or bull, as we demonstrated in an earlier episode. The winged horse, exemplified by the Greek Pegasus, was derived from the pillar of heaven. The chariots drawn by these horses were derived from the same polar configuration of planets. The Roman Quadriga was a chariot drawn by 4 horses abreast. It was raced in the ancient Roman chariot races, and the Greek version, the tethrapon, was used in the Olympic Games. It was considered the chariot of the gods and the heroes of the Greek and Roman pantheons. It is no coincidence that the chariots of Zechariah and the horsemen of John were 4 in number. The film Ben-Hur used the Quadriga in its epic chariot race. Each chariot was small, had 2 wheels, and was drawn by 4 horses, just like in the funerary sculpture previously shown. The ancient chariot race was not merely an athletic event, but a sacred event, which imitated the chariot and charioteer in the heavens. When Judah Ben-Hur wins the race, he is crowned the victor with a laurel wreath. The Roman procurator, Pontius Pilate, proclaims him to be a god. This statement was not merely an acknowledgement of the adoring crowd. It was an acknowledgement that, as the victor of the chariot race, Judah Ben-Hur became the preeminent charioteer. He became the hero god as charioteer. But which hero god did Ben-Hur become? The chariot race of Ben-Hur was run under the auspices of the Roman Empire. Therefore, the race, at least theoretically, would have been held to honor the god Mars. The ancient Romans honored the god Mars with many festivals, several of which included chariot races. As a rule, these chariot races were in the Campus Martius, or Field of Mars, an area of Rome which included oval racetracks such as the 2 shown on the map. The festivals dedicated to Mars, which included chariot races, were the Equirria, one on 27 February of each year and another on March 14th, and the October Horse, which included a chariot race and a horse sacrifice. Though not specifically dedicated to Mars, during the Robigalia and Consuelia festivals, the belligerent god was honored with chariot races. In Roman mythology, Mars was the so-called god of war, but he was a charioteer as well. Mars often drove a chariot with 2 horses, known as a biga, but the Quadriga, the 4-horse chariot, was normally associated with the sun chariot, or rather the chariot of the planet Mars. It is well known that the red planet was named after the Roman mythic hero god. Like the Roman mythic avatar of the red planet, many of the personifications of the planet throughout the mythologies of the world characterize the hero as a charioteer, including the following. It is one of the distinguishing features of the mythic hero. Of course, this list includes the familiar Apollo. As we pointed out in an earlier episode, it was the red planet behind the figure that drove the chariot. It was the laurel wreath of Apollo that served as Judah Ben-Hur's victory crown. Ben-Hur had symbolically been transformed into the hero god Apollo. The laurel crown, in turn, was symbolic of the sun-like rays emanating behind the ancient red planet. But why would the ancients, especially the ancient prophets of Israel, believe that the planet Mars was a charioteer or the chariot itself? The answer lies in the wheel of heaven. Dave Talbot, perhaps the preeminent mythologist of our time, explains.
Amongst the greatest of enigmas was the cosmic wheel recorded by every ancient culture. Images of a wheel in the sky carved on stone are older than civilization itself. Many archaeologists see these wheels as an imagined vehicle of the sun rolling across the sky. But in its most common form, the cosmic wheel doesn't go anywhere. Often it rests on a stationary pillar, or atop a stairway, or ladder, or is turned by a rope while resting on an altar or table. And the spokes of the wheel are not functional as such. They are fluid and etheric. Archaic gods and heroes hold a wheel in their hands. A cosmic wheel served as the throne of gods and cultural heroes and wise men, symbolically replicated in the wheel thrones of kings on earth. The wheel throne of Buddha underscores our point. And even the popular footprint of Buddha recalls the same wheel in heaven. The inspiration did not come from our sun. Compare these prehistoric instances of the pictographic wheel from Ireland and from California. Different parts of the wheel are clearly evident. A large circle or sphere, though not always present, a central star, and a smaller, darker circle or sphere inside the star-like form. The images do not depict a single object, but three objects, as demonstrated here, where the artist placed the small dark sphere well below the central star. I can assure you that the placements are not random. These forms in the sky were planets in close congregation and immense above the ancient sky worshippers.
Talbot then explains that what appeared in the heavens as a cosmic wheel was the conjunction of three planets, Saturn, Venus, and Mars.
The first astronomers identified this overarching ruler of the sky. They claimed it was the planet Saturn, remembered as the owner of the cosmic wheel before the god departed for distant realms. The astronomical traditions also name the central star as Venus, the mother goddess, and they name the darker reddish sphere as the planet Mars, the cosmic warrior.
What Talbot is advocating is that the planet Saturn served as the disk of the cosmic wheel, including the outer rim, that the planet Venus was the hub, with its radiating plasma streamers forming the spokes of the wheel, while Mars served as the axle around which the wheel rotated. Not only did the configuration look like a wheel, it rotated like a wheel, due to the rotation of the Earth. As Talbot explained, the configuration of planets as the cosmic wheel served as the archetype for the sun chariot, for the wheel thrones of kings, and as identifying tokens of gods, heroes, and sages. It is the cosmic wheel that serves as the heavenly prototype of the chariots of Mars, Apollo, and the biblical prophets, including the Apostle John in his Apocalypse. This is understandable from the perspective of the earthbound spectator. Mars, as the axle, sat at the very center of the wheel, as if he was situated within the confines of the chariot itself. Furthermore, the radiant spokes of the wheel, plasma streamers from Venus behind Mars, gave the celestial charioteer his crown of glory. In a very real and visual sense, planetary god, chariot, and crown merge into one mythic persona.